Hey, John, how's it going?
Great, Adam. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you, man. I've been a big fan of your work for a long time, so I was really honored that when Amy reached out to me for you to come on, and it's really exciting, man. Honestly,
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I want to kick things off first. I want to talk about this new documentary, The Diamond King. For people who don't know what it's all about, it's a feature-length documentary about the history of baseball as told through the life and works of baseball's Picasso, Dick Perez. It comes out on video on demand on April 25th. Now, John, from what I understand, this was right up your alley. You collected baseball cards growing up, and you even share Puerto Rican roots with Dick Perez. So, what did it mean for you to be a part of this story?
Yeah, it means a lot to be a part of this story. I love documentaries, and like you said, I'm a lifelong baseball fan. Um, and so the two came together when they asked me about it. And plus I've always wanted to be a narrator. I wanted to get that more Morgan Freeman out of me. But with this particular project, as much as of a baseball fan that I am, I've never heard of Dick Perez. And so the director showed me a little bit of a rough cut before I joined with just interviews about him, and he sent me his book, and I was just floored about his life, and the kind of wild parallels between his life and my life, both being Puerto Rican, but also growing up in New York, um, ha having a career in the arts. So I just wanted to support this project, and I'm really lucky that I was asked to do that.
What's really interesting is that today there's a huge wave of nostalgia. People are going back to retro things, myself included, VHS tapes, vinyl, and physical cards. That's why I think this documentary is going to speak to a lot of people, not just the young generation, but the people who also grew up with it. But the people who grew up with it can pass it down to the younger generation as well and say, like, look what we have. Because you know what's crazy, John? For example, like Pokemon, right? When I was a kid, I was collecting Pokemon cards, and I know it was even a 90s thing. But now they have everything digital. Like there's even like you can trade cards digitally now, and I feel like that loses the magic of having the physical cards, you know?
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, there's something kind of cool about keeping the essence of collection alive through technology. You can't completely deny that. But I think once that's experienced and you compare it to something as tangible as a card itself, to me, there's no real comparison. You know, there's something cool about touching it, about feeling it, and about seeing it weathered down. It's kind of like film, like when you see film on film versus digitally, there's something about how the film itself resonates with you. It's like its own real thing, and so you see it through the years as well. Now look, I'm also like, guilty of relying on my iPhone for pictures, and it's all there, and the convenience of that is pretty amazing. But when you get that one great shot, you want it printed, and once you have it printed, you want it framed and you want it hanging in your house. And so to me, baseball cards and baseball itself, is reminiscent of that, of experiencing it in real time. It's like I'd rather go to the ball game at the stadium than watch it on TV if I had a choice. Um, so yeah, like and what you mentioned before about passing it down, Mark Evans, the director of the film, he came up with the idea because he was sharing a moment with his son, and his son was just getting into baseball, and he was collecting cards, and his favorite player was Julio Rodriguez for the Mariners, and it made Mark open up his box of cards, and he was showing his cards to his son, and there were some Diamond Kings in there, and his favorite player being Ken Griffey Jr. And so his son was like, "Oh my God, these are like really cool," because it was the actual paintings that Dick did of the Diamond Kings. And it made Mark at that point want to investigate and explore more about who was this person that created this. And he did a little digging and then was really intrigued by his life and was like, I think this would make a really good movie. I'm going to try to reach out to this guy. And he did. And luckily, Dick picked up the phone, and the rest is history.
Yeah, it really is an interesting story, man, honestly, and it's inspiring too, just to see like the amazing work he did. And I know I mentioned that you and him both share Puerto Rican heritage together. How important is it for you to be a part of stories that highlight Puerto Rican identity? And like, are there any other Puerto Rican stories, maybe real people or untold moments that you'd love to see brought to life on the big or small screen?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's extremely important. There's so much history, and the culture is so amazing and vibrant and rich. Um, and both on the island and here on the mainland. Um, and there just hasn't been nearly enough of those stories. So whenever I have the opportunity to highlight any facet of the culture, I jump at it. Whenever I'm, like in this case, asked to talk about it, I'm really enthusiastic to do that. In terms of what projects I would like to be seen on the big screen, all small screen, uh, related to Puerto Rican culture or history, I guess number one is the life story of Roberto Clemente. That was a probably one of the best outfielders in baseball history. He was Puerto Rican. He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I actually named my son after him,
Okay,
and uh,
interesting. Nice.
and he's in the Hall of Fame. And not only he played in the 60s and 70s, but n not only was he an amazing baseball player, he was an equally amazing humanitarian. He tragically died in an airplane crash while he was delivering aid to Central American countries during Christmas. Um, and that's indicative of the kind of human being that he was. By all accounts, he was like a saint,
Yeah.
a living saint who happened to be one of the greatest ball players of all time. And he was Puerto Rican. So I know there have been attempts to develop. There's lots of books written on him, and there have been attempts to adapt them to the screen, and it just hasn't been done in a high profile way. But you look at someone like Jackie Robinson, it
Oh
took
yeah, yeah.
it took Hollywood a long time to tell his story. So I think it will be done someday, and who knows? Maybe I'll be involved in it.
Yeah, hey, and good things take time, as they say, right?
That's right. That's right.
You know.
So so hopefully it'll happen.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, man. Yeah, hopefully, it's like we're gonna manifest it now. We're talking about it, and then you watch. It's gonna happen. You just you
Yeah,
gotta manifest it, man. Putting it out in the universe. As
there
corny
you
as that
go.
sounds,
Yeah.
I like to believe in things like that.
Oh, no, 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 no. I love it, and maybe I'll be a executive producer, and Adam will be an executive producer as well.
Hey, well, I'm also an actor, John. I'm starting out in the
Oh,
biz, so maybe one day we can work together on something too. That'd be amazing, man.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Also, too, I want to bring up about Dick Perez is about the way he did his art, right? It brings out more than just what the players looked like. It really did capture their spirit. And obviously, like as we've seen, like it's lived through the generations. How do you think his artwork helps keep these athletes' legacies alive in a way that stats or awards can't?
Um, it just it brings it alive in ways that capture a moment. He
Hmm.
has a great way of 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 capturing a very pivotal moment that may or may not be remembered in history the way stats are, and for instance, he in the film is working on an Aaron Judge painting, and that moment was the moment that he hit the home run that broke the record for most home runs in a season, and it's the moment right before. But then you have moments that, and that's obviously written down in stats and it's covered in a lot of video and recordings and stories. But then you'll have moments like he'll capture the essence and the emotion in a real raw way of players' personalities, like Grover Cleveland Alexander, and he was one of the greatest pitchers of all time, but he had a very troubled life, especially after he retired. In fact, he retired homeless, and he dealt with alcoholism his whole life. And Dick's portrait of him is you just see it in his face. You see, even though he's in uniform and he's in the middle of a game, he's you see his face as if it's foreshadowing, this really heavy, troubled life that he carried off the field. And it's one of my favorite paintings of him. So you really see like the humanity in the players, you see the people. Um, there are times when you'll see a particular era that expands beyond the baseball diamond, and he did that very well with the Negro Leagues players, um, and and in the past as well. So 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 that's a long way of me answering the question,
No, it's very no,
but
it's very insightful. I love this stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but if I can sum it all up, it all comes down to an artistic perspective and the power of art. The power of art can really transcend and penetrate through many things. And that's what I love about Dick Perez's work, is that it does that in a way that not only celebrates the game itself, but goes beyond and speaks to the humanity of those involved, whether they're the players or the fans that get to appreciate them.
I have a couple questions for you about your other work because, like I said, I'm a big fan of everything you've done, and obviously, like to see you when you first started in your debut film in Carlito's Way, like what a way to start your acting career, man. I just gotta say, because for me, Al Pacino is the gold standard. He's my favorite actor. So I just want to know what was it like working along someone like that for your first movie?
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, it was one of those things where it really felt like it really did feel like a dream, there were many, many moments where I had to like remind myself that it's not a dream and that it's like real and that this is work and that I can like have the shortest career in film history if I messed it up. So I better, step up to the plate, no pun intended. Um and and yeah, it was incredible. Al Pacino was everything that I would hope for because I was also a huge, and I still am a huge Pacino fan, you know. So, you know, there's a danger in meeting your heroes, as they say. Um, you know, not to even like uh, speak of working with your heroes, you know, for the first time. But you know, it could have easily flopped. And it was it was the most amazing experience, you know. Uh I couldn't have asked for a better start. And he you know, he not only proved to be, you know, a master actor to me while we were working, but he also recognized that I was, you know, just a kid and it was my first thing, and so he really took care of me. You know, he gave me advice, he protected me, he inspired me. He was more like a friend, you know. So I'm not exaggerating by saying it was like one of the most amazing experiences ever.
Wow, that's awesome. And you know what's really interesting is that a lot of people compare that film to Scarface. They both deal with similar themes, you know, ambition, redemption, downfall, and they're both directed by Brian De Palma brilliantly. What are your thoughts when people draw those comparisons? Do you almost see them as spiritually connected in any way?
Yeah, it's fair. It's totally fair. It's the same director, the same lead actor, a lot of the same themes. What I loved about that is that, you know, is that they're not the same. You know, they really stand alone, you know, as their own pieces of art, you know, and their own movies, you know, and um, and that's pretty cool, you know, when you have so many similar things working on two different things that they can stand apart in in their own way, uh, and be so popular as well, is pretty cool.
And also, too, you had a long friendship with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who, again, another one of the greats out there, right? Who we sadly lost too soon. But that friendship went back to the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. He later directed and starred in Jack Goes Boating, which you also were in, and that performance earned you an Independent Spirit Award nomination, which was definitely well deserved. Did that shared history and familiarity make the experience more personal and or seamless for you?
No doubt, no doubt. We also, Phil and I worked on the play first of that film. Um, and then it was adapted to a movie. And he didn't direct it, he was just in it. So we not only knew each other really, really well, you know, we were like brothers for many years. But we also acted in it together. And now in the film, he was directing me. So he knew all my tricks. He knew exactly when I was like, you know, taking the easy route, and challenged me in a way that only um, folks who really know you can challenge you and be like, no, I think you can do better, or I think you're kind of bullshitting here, you know, like let's try that again, um, you know, give me that, you know, John Ortiz smile, he'd say, you know, and so, without a doubt, he was one of the greats. We met in 1994, so you're right. We were lucky enough to both be cast in a Shakespeare play that was gonna do a international tour for 6 months, and of The Merchant of Venice, and um, and yeah, it was almost instant, and you know. We kept in touch, and we both I invited him into a theater company that I had started 2 years prior, and he jumped at the chance, and then we became co-artistic directors of that theater company, and sat through many readings and workshops and meetings, and developed a lot of work, and kind of grew up together.
Yeah, for sure, man. And you know what? Like you're just very talented. Like you make good connections with people because you're a very likable person. And your filmography is amazing, man. Like American Fiction, American Gangster, the films I mentioned too. It goes on and on. And even now, I just read that you're gonna be in Nobody too, alongside Bob Odenkirk, Sharon Stone, Connie Nielsen, Christopher Lloyd. The list goes on. Obviously, I know you probably can't talk about that, but I just wanted to say it looks like a really cool project, and I'm really excited for you, man. And obviously, thank you for the interview today as well.
Yeah, no, thank you, Adam. The only thing I can say about Nobody Two is that I think it's gonna be really, really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the first one was amazing, man. So I can only imagine what this one has in store. And John, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. I hope to stay in touch. I have you on Instagram,
Yeah,
and yeah, thank you.
yeah, please do. Yeah, it was a real pleasure, man, and I look forward to talking again or seeing you down the road. But more importantly, being on set together.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're the best.
Yeah,
Thank
brother.
you, man. Have a great day.
Take care. You
Bye.
too.